What's up, everyone? My name's Eric, and welcome to the Adventures of LiveStream. Today we're going to be going over a beginner's guide to bows. So everything I'm using is going to be tier 4. It's going to be the first thing you have access to. We're going to go over all 6 bows, some different armors and helms and boots and things that you can wear with these bows. But the real purpose of today's video is to help you get through some solo gameplay so that you can level up your bows, get that higher spec so that you can actually go play some of these PvP specs and things like that. And big piece of advice, don't try to do Hellgates and things like that with 0 spec, guys. You need to be able to spec this up. And if you're beginning in the game, then you probably don't have access to a good guild or a lot of people to play with. So you're going to be doing a lot of solo play, and it was one of the reasons they added these solo dungeons into the game. So that's what we're going to be covering today, a good build that you can use to level up your different bow specs and your mastery so that later in the game you can be a great bow player. That's right, Dumby Nation. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, it's bow time, man. We're going to be talking about some bows, and honestly, like, one of these is one of my favorite weapons in the game. Okay, just my main. I've done really well with bows on my main, and I love it for open world PvP and things like that. Actually, 2 of the bows I'm really fond of, but one of them is one of my favorite weapons in the game, and we'll talk about all of that. So the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to talk about the bows themselves before we start getting into armors and everything else. Now, granted, I'm a brand new character. This character has very little mastery and spec. I don't even think this character can even wear a tier 5 bow yet. So we're rocking tier 4.1. Right? You can normally afford to jump that extra level. A lot of you might be asking, what do I mean by tier 4.1? Again, if you're new to the game, then you may not know. So this is an Adepts Bow. Some people call it the regular bow or just the bow. And you'll see these little dots down here. This is enchanted once. What's up, Lamar? Welcome, welcome. So this first one here is just the regular bow. This is what a lot of you will start out with when you're first leveling a bow. You'll be using this as it is the tier 3 bow, it's the tier 2 bow, and so on and so forth. So let's talk about the Qs and the Ws really quick that you'll have access to. I do want to point out that, on a Bow of Abaddon, you can actually see the extra skills, speed shot, and ray of light, but you're not going to gain access to these until much, much later in your mastery. I think you have to be level 70 in your mastery to actually even use ray of light. Once you get there, though, you'll almost use this for almost everything. It's an AoE, does a lot of damage, it's great, roots people in place. It is so good for open world, like just activities and ganking, things like that. Being able to actually keep your opponents or even the enemy, like just PvE enemies, from moving is absolutely terrific. And we've got something to cover that as well. So let's go ahead and talk about the Qs, and the Ws really quick. The first one here is going to be multi-shot. Let's light these up. The first one here is going to be multi-shot. You're not really going to use this because honestly, it's got the range of a sword. Okay, 12 meter range. It's okay. It's going to hit everything in a cone in front of you. It'll do a moderate amount of damage, and that's all well and good. But what we really want is more than likely going to be deadly shot. Now, I know a lot of you aren't going to like deadly shot because this is what's called a skill shot. You actually have to aim where you want this ability to go. We'll talk about that when we get into the gameplay here in just a moment. The next one is going to be Poison Arrow. This one's really good if you're having to kite things because it's instant cast. You don't have to aim it. You can spam it. Just keep up those poison stacks. It'll poison the enemy. You can stack it up to 3 times, so the poison gets greater and greater. It has a slightly better range than the 12 meters of multi-shot, as this one has 13 meters, and then deadly shot's got 18 meters of range. So you can shoot things much farther away, but you will need to actually use a little bit of skill with deadly shot. You'll have to aim it. You'll also have to maneuver your enemies around so that you can hit multiple enemies at one time. And then that's going to bring us to our W. Alright, so there's two W's available to you when you first start playing a bow. And the first one's going to be explosive arrows. Now this is going to be your bread and butter. This is a new magic set. The first one here is going to be explosive arrows, and like I said, bread and butter. This, you're going to use this more than anything. So I'm going to go ahead and read the tooltip on this one. Your next 10 arrows will explode on enemy contact. This gets activated by normal attacks as well as with spells. Each explosion deals magic damage in a 5-meter radius. So every time one of your arrows hits an enemy, that enemy is then going to explode, dealing damage to everything around it, giving you an AoE. The second one here is going to be Frost Shot. Now Frost Shot's more of a PvP dueling skill. You're going to leap backwards. If any of you have ever played World of Warcraft and you played the Hunter, and you could disengage, leap back through, leap back away and put some range between you and the enemy. That's what this is. You'll leap backwards 13 meters, and while at the same time firing a frost arrow at the ground right in front of you, slowing anyone hit by 40% for 6 seconds. Range, melee. What the hell are we using a bow for if we're doing melee damage, right? So again, this is just one of those where they have to be right on top of you before it really matters. Again, we're talking about best ways to clear solo dungeons so that you can fame up your bow, so you can get out there and go take other people's gear. So yeah, we're gonna stick with explosive arrows here. I will talk about the other few really quick. Speed shot is okay. A shot dealing physical damage, a moderate amount of damage at that, and it increases your movement speed by 20% and your attack speed by 50% for 5 seconds. This is not horrible. It's only got a 15-second cooldown, comes back up really quick, so you can use this a lot. It's still not going to be as much damage overall as having 10 arrows that explode and do AoE damage to everything. So again, explosive arrow is going to be the way to go. And then the last but not least, we've got Ray of Light. Now this is a high amount of damage ability. Shoots an arrow into the sky. Now this can shoot around line of sight. You can shoot over walls with Ray of Light. So I do want to point that out. Shoots an arrow into the sky, which rains down on the ground after a short delay. So you do have to time that delay, and it will take a little bit of practice. It is a skill shot. You do have to aim it. Any enemy hit will take a high amount of magical damage and is rooted for 2.91 seconds. That is, of course, increased by your CC duration and things of that nature, but a lot of us aren't going to be wearing CC increase. So Ray of Light, it's going to be big when you finally get to level 70, but until you get there, you're going to need to use Explosive Arrow. So that's what we're going to talk about today, is explosive arrows, and we're going to be pairing that with deadly shot for all of these bows. I know, the same Q and W for all of the bows. Yeah, pretty much until you get Ray of Light, that's the way you're going to roll. Alright, so let's talk about the actual E abilities, because these E's are huge. Enchanted Quiver here, your next 18 arrows will be enchanted, right? Every normal attack will increase your let me just restart. Every normal attack with an enchanted arrow will increase your normal attack damage by 35% and attack speed by 15%, stacks up to 6 times. So that is a huge amount of damage increase, all right? And your attack speed will continue to go up. On max stacks, your arrows will also reduce the enemy's resistances by 40, all right? By a medium amount. So that's huge, and it reduces them for 3 seconds. Let me tell you, when you get this thing rolling, you're going to keep that debuff up on on the enemy. It just happens. This bow, you'll see it when we get into the gameplay. It shoots extremely fast. This is your machine gun, if you will. It's not bolt casters, but it can actually just pump out a ton of damage, so don't underestimate the regular bow. As far as passives go, you got the slow poison. Every normal attack slows creatures by 40% and players by 10%. This is both good in dungeons, so that if you need to kite around a bigger mob, they're going to be slowed a lot, and it's just on your normal attack. And in PvP, when you finally get to that point, players by 10%. So if you're chasing them and you can get a single normal attack off, not only can they not ride away faster, you break their gallop, but it also is going to slow their movement speed a little bit more than that. So that's absolutely terrific. Now the other one that you'll actually use a lot once you unlock it is energetic. Every normal attack restores 3 energy. Remember what I said in some of our other videos. When it comes to solo dungeons, your energy regeneration will determine how fast that you can actually keep or clear the dungeons, which will determine your silver per hour during the beginning of the game. Of course, later in the game, you can make your silver per hour many other ways. You do not need to worry about farming dungeons for silver unless it's just something you want to do. But energetic, every normal attack will restore some energy, and then we have piercing arrows. Every normal attack increases the target's damage taken by almost 2%, 1.961 for 3 seconds, and this stacks up to 4 times. So you can actually get a lot of increased damage off of this, almost 8%, just by running this. So all of the passives have their place, and I think that most of you will enjoy switching back and forth between your passives on certain situations. It kind of makes the bow really flexible. As far as the last passive, I'll pull up the Badon here. Okay, I said it. Baden, Badon, Badon, Baden, however you pronounce the name of this bow, good on you. I have heard people that have played this game forever try to pronounce it different ways. I don't know how it's pronounced. I call it the Bow of Badon. So anyway, the last one is attack speed. Every 5 normal attacks, you gain attack speed bonus of 35% for 5 seconds. That's pretty good, and when you start pairing that with the actual bow itself, which is going to really love increased attack speed, you may even want to use that for PvE or something of that nature. So, all right. So that's your Adepts Bow. We've talked about the Enchanted Quiver, so we'll go ahead and put that down here. We'll be taking that with us. The next one here is going to be your Warbow. Now the Warbow is your biggest skill shot bow, in my opinion. Yeah, it definitely is. So the Warbow here, we're still going to be using Deadly Shot. We're still going to be using explosive arrows, but now we've got Magic Arrow. Fires a magic arrow which deals a high amount of magical damage if the enemy is further away, and a medium amount of magical damage if the enemy is in close proximity. It's got a 26-meter range. You can really get out there with this, and you're going to be excited when you start killing people off of your screen, because they're trying to run away, and you send this big magic arrow at them, and you hit them, and you're going to be like, yes, got them. It's gonna feel great. I promise it's gonna feel great. So that's what the magic arrow is. This is another skill shot. This is not a I've got my enemy targeted, all I gotta do is press E. You will have to aim this. The skill cap on this particular weapon is pretty high, so do remember that. Like, it's the real deal. Anyway, next here we've got the Longbow. All right, let's pull the Longbow out here. The Longbow, again, we're gonna be using the same abilities. I didn't mention this. Explosive arrow. It makes your skills actually explode everything near you, right? So when you shoot a deadly shot through a group of enemies and it hits multiple enemies, it's going to explode on every enemy it hits. So that's one of the big reasons for deadly shot and explosive arrows combination is you put your explosive arrows up and you fire this deadly shot through things, and that's why we're using the combination. Now it also works on Rain of Arrows with Adepts Longbow. Now that's why I wanted to explain that really quick, is because Rain of Arrows here, it's a really sweet ability. I guess I can show it to you guys really quick. I didn't show any of the others. There's tier 1 jank just waiting to mess with us, but you'll see we basically just volley of arrows, bring down a rain of arrows on people, and that's kind of what we're wanting to do. That actually works pretty decent with a tank that can really group things up and things of that nature. If you can hold the enemies in place, you can do well with that. So that's your longbow. All right, now let's talk about these 3 bows really quick before we jump into the artifact bows. Now this is going to be your high sustain damage. Single target sustain damage right here is your regular bow. The next one's going to be the war bow. This is also going to be high single target damage, but it has a lot of burst damage to it. You're doing a lot of damage with a single ability. And then the last one here is going to be your AoE bow. Okay, and I've got these paired up because they're basically the same thing when it comes to the 3 artifact bows. The 3 artifact bows work a lot in the same manner as the 3 non-artifact bows. The first one here being the Whispering Bow. Now this bow is a little bit special, as you're really going to be able to get out there, right? So the E on this is Undead Arrows, a self buff which increases your auto attack range by 35%. While active, each auto attack also deals an additional small amount of magical damage for 8 seconds. So for 8 seconds, you're going to be able to shoot 35% further than you normally would. Again, when I was talking about the Adepts Bow, this bow actually uses your normal attack for the majority of its damage. Same thing with the Whispering Bow. It's going to use your normal attack augmented with the buff of like the enchanted arrow or enchanted quiver. So these bows kind of go hand in hand. And then the next one here is going to be the Wailing Bow. The Wailing Bow this is your ZZ bow right here. It fires a demonic arrow that pierces through enemies. Each time an enemy is hit by an arrow, it becomes stronger, allowing it to do more damage to subsequent targets. This damage can't be reflected. Alright, so the first enemy hit, medium amount of damage. Second enemy hit, higher. Third enemy hit, even higher. Fourth and more enemies hit, the maximum amount of damage. It is a ton of damage. Want to do some sparring on the island when I'm done with the explanations? We could do that, but this whole thing is just about doing solos. It's not about PvP. I don't think that you should even be bothering with PvP until after you've spec'd up your weapons. Just because you're wearing a tier 4 bow doesn't mean anything. It's all about spec in this game. So if you want to have a higher spec, you need to get out into those dungeons and start clearing some dungeons and getting some fame for your weapon. You need to become a famous archer if you want to use a bow in PvP. So I think that we would just be getting our butt kicked sparring against you with absolutely no spec. And I don't want to recommend that people PvP with no spec. What's up, Madness? Alright, so the demon arrow here shoots this big, huge javelin looking arrow out. The more targets it hits, the more damage it does. Again, this one's a lot like the warbow. You need to aim it. It's all about skill shots. And then the last one here, my favorite, the Bow of Abaddon, right? The Baden bow, whatever you want to call it. Raging Storm shoots a lightning arrow. Now that does need to be aimed. Okay, just want to point that out. You will need to aim this. It aims the same way that your longbow will. Again, the bows kind of go hand in hand, the non-artifact and the artifact ones. So Raging Storm shoots a lightning arrow which creates a storm cloud on impact with an enemy. The cloud lasts for 4.8 seconds and constantly hits enemies within its 5-meter radius with lightning. The lightning interrupts enemy spellcasting and deals 71 magic damage every 0.3 seconds. So every second it's going to hit 3 times. After leaving the area, the enemy will be hit by lightning an additional 7 times. So, like, ton of damage, absolutely ton of damage. This wrecks casters. Okay, if a caster's trying to actually cast something, whether that's PvP or PvE, you've got enemies trying to cast something, trying to put a spell or whatever out, they're not going to be able to do it. This will silence them, interrupt them over and over. It'll interrupt them 3 times per second. I don't actually know any other weapon that can interrupt that much. Okay, so the Raging Storm, absolutely huge. You guys are going to see it when we actually start playing with this this particular bow. We've got a build built specifically for this, but I do want to mention that I'm not the only person that likes the Bow of Abaddon. That's why this bow is over 100k. You probably won't be able to risk your bows of Abaddon early in the game. As you get further on in the game, a couple 100k for a weapon is no big deal, but in the beginning it kind of blows to lose 300 or 400k. I know, I've been there. If you lose a set of armor that costs you $500,000, then you're not going to be too happy that day, and that might actually end your gameplay. So again, we'll always stick to the rule. Make sure you don't take things out into the red zones and the black zones that you can't replace. All right, don't let it just end your day. All right, so Raging Storm, awesome ability. Again, it's an AoE, but this one's a little bit special, interrupting those spell casts, hitting 3 times per second, hitting an additional 7 times after that they've left the area. So really cool ability. Alright, so now let's go ahead and put one of our bows on and talk about some of the armors and other things that you might want to use. So the first one here, we're going to talk about the Adepts Bow. Now the Adepts Bow is all about attack speed. Okay, this particular bow is all about attack speed. You want to be able to do as much damage as possible through your auto attack. So the more auto attacks you can get out there, the better off you're going to be. So we're actually going to be rocking the Hunter Jacket with this one. Now, why are we rocking the Hunter Jacket? It increases normal attack speed by 60% and damage by 20% for 8 seconds. So increasing that normal attack speed by 60%, huge. That extra 20% buff on top of your enchanted quiver and things, it's going to be a lot of damage. So the Hunter's Jacket is really good here. As far as passives go, we're going to be rocking attack speed, increase attack speed by 12%. If you think that you can't keep up with the cooldowns, you can move over to Balanced Mind. That you think you're just running through your quiver way too fast, you can move over to Balanced Mind, but I have not really had a problem with that. If I have to take a small pause in between pulls, then I will. Again, we'll get into that when we actually get into gameplay. So really quick, before I get further into armors, and I know this is a little bit backwards, I want to point something out. A lot of people talk about why do you wear this armor? Why do you wear that armor? Now, let's take a look at cloth armor really quick. I'm just going to grab. Do we have a mage robe anywhere? Mage robe would be the best, but I'm just going to grab a scholar's robe. You'll see here the physical attack bonus on a scholar's robe. I actually have this one with the passive on it. So if we change the passive, your physical attack bonus on cloth is 40%, and then there's one that's 45%, and so on and so forth. And then you get that extra 8% off aggression, you know, so you can go up to 48% attack bonus, okay? And that's just extra damage, okay? So if you don't have problems with getting hit, you think that you can kite really well, by all means, grab you a cleric's robe, grab you a mage's robe, something like that. Don't worry about the ability on it. You'll have more sustained damage over time. We're not going to be doing that because, you know, we're all going to be beginners here. We're going to rock the leather jacket, and we're not wearing leather because we're all roguish and medium armor style. We're wearing it because of the ability. The hunter's jacket has the ability, but it also has the extra 25% attack bonus. So just by wearing leather, we're not actually going to get that full what was it, 40 on the scholar's robe. You can get 45. I think the mage's robes have 50. So we're losing 25% damage overall just by wearing leather that we could be gaining by wearing mage's robes. So if you think that you can take the hits, or you think you can avoid the hits, by all means grab you a pair of mage's robes, get that extra damage at all times, and you're probably going to love it. If you're in a group and you're not doing this solo, I actually recommend that. I actually say just grab you a set of mage's robes, take that extra, you know, 50% damage at all times, because we're losing 25% damage just by wearing you know, leather. Alright, so that's the hunter's jacket. The other option here is you could go with the 20% that's on mercenary jacket, but give yourself a heal ability off of bloodlust. Now you can still get the extra 4%, so you could be at 24% here, but all of the leather jackets have that, so we won't talk about that. But you've got bloodlust here. Now, something I want to show you guys about mercenary jackets is there's another way, and I normally prefer this with melee characters, is to actually use the Helm jacket. Now, this jacket costs about 100k more than a regular mercenary jacket, so again, you're starting out, you may not want this, but remember, you're getting an extra 5% and it still has a heal on it. The problem with this heal is you need to be within 5 meters, and if you're staying within 5 meters of the enemy, then you're possibly going to be taking even more damage, and then the heal's just not really worth it. So again, you know, utility versus damage, right? So just pick what you want. Also, you'll notice that, you know, on the Hellion jacket you do get an extra passive. You also get that passive on the Specter Jacket, or sorry, the Specter Jacket and the Stalker Jacket. You won't have that on a tier 4 Assassin's Jacket, Hunter Jacket, or Mercenary Jacket. Now, the Assassin's Jacket has a baseline of 30% bonus attack speed. And if you can get away with it, ambush, this is not just going invisible. I see a lot of people talking about ambush. Oh, yeah, I can just go invisible. Alright, yes, you can go invisible, but the longer you stay invisible, the higher the damage buff, right? So you turn invisible for 8 seconds. Your first attack out of invisibility will have an increased damage the longer you stay invisible. The higher the damage buff, up to a maximum of 40% increased damage. So if you're using the Warbow, I actually highly recommend the Assassin's Jacket. I actually like the Assassin's Jacket overall, because in some dungeons you're going to run into areas where you need to run in, you need to clear 1 or 2 mobs, and then you either need to run out or just vanish and reset them. If you are going to be using this into solo dungeons though, you'll want to open with your ambush. You'll go ahead and ambush, stay for the maximum amount, and then come out of the ambush with your big E ability, hitting for a ton of damage. So remember, attacking or casting breaks invisibility. You will also become visible if you move too far away from your activation spot. So ambush, Really, really powerful ability. I see a lot of people forget about the fact that you get the increased damage. It's also really great for someone using like claws and other abilities. You know, you go invisible, you come out of the invisibility, you have that 40% increased damage buff, do a lot of damage to your opponents. It's wonderful. You'll love the Assassin's Jacket. But for the regular bow, we're going to be rocking the Hunter's Jacket. Now, I've got these in order of 20, 25, and 30%. Again, Mercenary Jacket 20, Hunter's Jacket 25, and then 30% on the Assassin's Jacket. Same thing goes for the artifact. There's an artifact of 20, there's an artifact of 25, and an artifact of 30% physical attack and magical attack. So even if you're using a staff, same thing applies. Cloth will give you more damage. Plate will, like plate gives you like no extra damage. It's gross. Like be tanking or something if you're going to wear plate. All right, so I know I have the Specter Jacket up here, but you will not use the Specter Jacket for a bow build. The Specter Jacket's all about getting close to someone. It can help you get there quicker, but you need warrior boots for that, and that's for a whole nother build as well. Although I've never really seen a bow try to chase people down like that. Maybe it would work. Doubt it though, considering you need to stop to shoot and you need to be able to move to get away with the Specter Jacket. So stay away from the Specter Jacket. No point in wasting that 100k. The Hellion Jacket is really good. The Hunter Jacket's good. The Mercenary Jacket's good. The Assassin's Jacket's good. Again, the Stalker Jacket needs to get close to the enemy, so we'll rule out the Stalker Jacket. Alright, now moving on to boots. I'm actually going to take this Assassin's Jacket with me. We'll play around a little bit with that. Should we take a Hellion Jacket? Yeah, we'll take a Hellion Jacket too. Alright. Next here we've got boots. Now any pair of leather boots will work. On leather boots, depending on the bow, you're going to use a different passive. So I'm going to be using the Specter shoes. The reason I'm going to be using the Specter shoes is I need any leather boots to reset my cooldowns quicker. Again, cooldowns are absolutely terrific in solo dungeons. If you're running in a group dungeon, you don't have to use this. You can just use run, or you can use spectral run, whatever you want to do. If you're ganking, spectral run's also kind of cool. Takes a little practice getting used to it, but being able to become invisible, it's pretty good. You've also got the refreshing sprint, which is on all leather boots, and that's kind of what we're going for. Now, the reason I'm going with Specter shoes instead of just Assassin shoes, and I've got these two pulled down here because I want to show you this, is because Assassin shoes, even though we have the refreshing sprint, we don't have the last passive. You don't actually get the last passives on Assassin's boots, which is just, you know, a standard pair of leather boots or any pair of leather boots that's not artifact, until tier 6. So if you can get a hold of a pair of tier 6, if you can wear tier 6, then you probably don't need this video. But then again, who knows? You can get the increased attack speed off of those, and you can also get the reduced cooldowns off of tier 6 shoes. If you can't wear tier 6 yet, just get you a pair of like Specter shoes, or you know, some artifact boots, as they do have a better passives or more passives available to them at tier 4. You don't have to go up to tier 6 to actually get access to these passives, and that's why I'm going to be rocking the Specter shoes here, because with one of these particular builds we're worried about cooldowns. With the regular bow though, we're going to be worried about increased attack speed. Alright, so that's shoes. They're pretty simple, straightforward. Wear leather shoes, reset your cooldowns as often as possible. You've got the extra attack speed if you wear artifact. You've got the reduced cooldown as well there on tier 4. Alright, so now it comes time for helmets. Okay. I have seen people use the Assassin's Hood, which the big point of the Assassin's Hood is meditation. While channeling, all spells on cooldown will recover much faster. The full channel lasts 3 seconds and can shorten cooldown times by up to 15 seconds. So if you wait the full 3 seconds, you can trim 15 seconds off cooldowns. resetting in between pulls, that's pretty decent. So if you want to go that route, you can, to make sure that you're ready for every single pull with all of your abilities. You can rock that. I'm not going to be doing that today. The other one is the Hunter's Hood. This is pretty decent as well. Retaliate's decent in PvP. When you guys get out there in PvP, you're going to want to rock it. The most common helm that you're going to see people use with a bow, and once you get into open world, this will be the helm you want to use, is going to be the Mage Cowl. This is my recommendation. Use the Mage Cowl. You know, it works. It has aggression, which was just an extra 3.5% damage, and then it's got poison on it. So coat your weapon with a poison. Your next auto attack will poison the enemy, dealing a moderate amount of damage per second for 5 seconds. Now that's huge. Just giving you an extra poison is absolutely huge. And when you're rocking something like a mercenary jacket, actually going to put this back. I should be taking the mercenary jacket with me. Uh-oh. Let me put it back. Yeah. When you're rocking the mercenary jacket, this is another poison, another dot, another tick that can be going off. Remember, the mercenary jacket is going to heal you every time you do damage to the enemy. So the poison on the Mage Cowl, absolutely terrific. But that's not what we're going to be using today. Alright, remember when I said we've got something special here because you're not level 70 yet, and you don't have a way to root the enemy in place because you don't have Ray of Light? We're going to be rocking a Royal Helm. Alright, the Royal Helm has an ability on it. I know it's plate. Oh my god, it's so bad. But the Royal Helm has Ballista Fire Support. Your Royal allies fire a burning barrel at the ground, at a ground target location. It takes a little time before it reaches the desired location. When it does, it stuns all enemies hit for 2.88 seconds and deals 132 physical damage. A small amount of physical damage, but still. The big point is it will root or stun them all in place. This is an interrupt. It's a stun for your Bow of Badon. Remember, this is 2.88 seconds. Your Bow of Badon's Cloud. The cloud lasts for 4.8 seconds, so you'll stun them in it. They'll take a majority of it, and then as they try to get out of the cloud, they'll get hit additional times. So you'll get more damage on them if you can keep them in the cloud. So yeah, keep your files in the cloud, people. Keep your files in the cloud. So really, in my opinion, in the beginning, you should probably be rocking the Royal Helmet. But if you want to be faming up for the end game, rock the Mage Cowl. The Mage Cowl's really, really good. So we're going to be rocking the Royal Helm today. I think it's the right way to go, as we've got a little other reason we want to hold people in place, and that's going to be your cape. The Demon Cape for the additional damage. You can rock this or a Thetford Cape. I might even pick up a Thetford Cape and take it with us when we go out into the dungeons. Thetford Cape's really good for AoE. It attacks every 15 seconds and hits up to 4 enemies with a chain lightning. The other one here is the Demon Cape. I like the Demon Cape because it does a much higher amount of damage, and if you can stun the enemies inside the lava pool or the opening to hell, then you can do a lot more damage. So we're going to be rocking the Demon Cape. As always, if you're new to the builds, you're not familiar, and you don't want to get knocked down, because again, you're probably not going to be out there in the red zones in the beginning of your game. You don't want to be knocked down. Get a hold of an Undead Cape. This will save you runes. This will save you durability. This will save you a ton, because every time you get low, it's going to reset everything, and then you'll pull back, you restart that fight, and you didn't get knocked down. So if you want to rock that, you can. And then some of you might actually want to push it to the edge. Some fights you're going to get pretty low, so you might not want to reset, and this will sometimes aggravate you by resetting. You just got to take that with take that in stride, and and just reset and try again. So I'm not going to be rocking the Undead Cape today. I'm going to be rocking the Demon Cape. The other option is really the Thetford Cape. I don't think you're going to need Lymhurst Cape because we're going to cover our mana regen with food. Okay, we're making some some Merc Water Clam Soup. Now this is one of the best solo foods that you're going to be able to get. They're about 5K a piece if you're in Lymhurst. I think they're a little bit cheaper than that in Carleon. I haven't checked in some of the other cities, but the tier 3 soup works fine. You don't have to go pay 45K for a tier 5 soup. Just rock the tier 3 soups. It works fine. You'll be fine. It only really heals you outside combat anyway, so it may take just a little bit longer. If you have the money, then by all means go rock the tier 5 soups. But the tier 3 clam soup, no, not just any soup, it needs to be the clam soup. So get you some clam soups, go with that. As always, we're going to be rocking some poisons for the bosses. Now you could also take some healing potions if you wanted to do that. Sticky potions are okay because, you know, again, we like rooting them in place. We're not going to need the sticky potions because of our helmet. You've also got Gigantify potions, which I don't really use much with a bow, you know, unless you're trying to do some PvP. And then there's the resistance potions if you think you're about to take a lot of damage or something. But we're just going to be rocking some poison. I do want to mention that Eel Stew is the go-to group activity food. Like if you're doing anything in a group, you want Eel Stew. Eel Stew will reduce cooldowns and increase damage. I know a lot of people are like, hey, get that omelet, get that omelet. Well, you're not casting spells. Get your Eel Stew. And then last but not least here, we're going to grab our dungeon maps. And we're going to leave the repair kit behind today. Okay? We're going to have faith that we are not going to need our repair kit. But I do want you all to know that there are repair kits. If you think you're going to go out into a dungeon, you're going to get knocked down a lot. First off, if you're in a dungeon and you're getting knocked down a lot, you need to go to a lower tier dungeon because you're losing your runes, you're losing your relics and your souls that you're earning off of the boss chest. You lose 10% of your stacks every time you get knocked down. That's not cool. That's not cool at all. So if you think you need a repair kit, if you then you're probably in too high of a tier dungeon. So, all right, we're gonna run over. I will grab that Thetford cape real quick. We'll top off, grab a couple extra poisons, and we'll head out. We'll go have some fun and get into some gameplay. So if any of you got any questions or anything, by all means, let me know, and I'll try to answer those the best I can. So let's grab some extra poisons. We'll just grab, I got 8, so we'll just get 12 really quick. And then what, we need a Thetford cape. Thetford cape. Ooh, can we get a 0.1? Which is a 0.1 cost. See, 0.1 is only like an extra 100 or an extra like 10k. So we'll go ahead and take that with us. So we've got all of our gear. It's time to go kill some bosses, right? Do not follow me to this dungeon. He's already left the. He was down there while we. Oh man, stream snipers, stream snipers. All right, so we're set up. We're gonna do a ability check here. We have all of our abilities, no question marks, none of that sort of thing. We're on our legendary adventurer's horse. It's actually just an adept horse. So here we go. All right, we're off. Some tier 4 solo dungeons. This one's actually really close. Now, I'm going to start off with the non-artifact bows, or maybe I'll use the single target bows first, and then we'll jump in from single target bows. Maybe I'll use them in the pairs that they work together. Yeah, I'll do that. That's hard to explain, but you'll understand when I start doing it. This game is so in-depth, so simple, but so in-depth. Alright, Hidden Caverns, level 1, let's rock and roll. Alright, we don't have our abilities yet. We're going to wait on our food buff and our abilities. So let's go ahead and buff up. We've got our food. Until we get to a boss, we'll rock the Thetford cape. Alright. My ADD won't let me sit still, right? Alright, so we're gonna start with your W, fire that Q, and then just make sure you hit that space, and you can just kind of keep rolling with it. Now, what's cool about the Adept Bow is you'll see up here that we're gonna lose 6 arrows, but that's fine. That's perfectly fine. I ran right into that, didn't I? Here. Let's just reset that. Yep. Just happy mistakes, happy mistakes. Alright, so we're resetting. I'm gonna kill this bear ASAP. Oh, I keep resetting them. Okay, okay. Time to use some other abilities with it here. So we're going to have to do some kiting. I need to get a couple of these killed at least. Well, this is fun. Yay! We killed a bear. Alright. A lot of other things will be much easier. One of the things about the regular Adepts Bow, you'll see that the auto attack is really, really fast. But when you're doing solos, this is not the greatest thing in the world, because you do have to stand still to allow this to happen. It's definitely not one of my recommended bows for solos. Even though it's a ton of damage. I mean, an absolute ton of damage. Let's see if we can hit them both at the same time here. Missed one of them. Right, we're just going to keep our abilities up here. Hey, we're better with a plate helmet already. We'll reset our cooldowns and move on to the next pull. Another bear. These bears are a nightmare. Yeah. See if we can get them both. Yeah, aim shot. While we're moving, we'll reset our buffs. And this bow is really just all about buffs. It just get your buffs up, and then just make your auto attacks. That's about all you can do. So we're just gonna try to keep our buffs up, and then just keep firing away. Did they reset? Wow, some evasion. And we'll run through it. Hey, we got the healing one. Alright. Now we should be boss for a few minutes. Got a lot of enemies on us. See if we... So hard to actually get out of things when you need to be firing. So again, not my favorite bow for this particular activity, but it's not the worst either. You see our Thetford cape keep going off. We'll move out of that because that's not cool. And you'll notice the clam soup is keeping our mana up nice and high. No big deal there with the mana. We have an adequate amount of AoE thanks to our explosive arrow. But all bows have that, so it's not really the most impressive thing. New shrine. Okay, we get the heal shrine again. That's probably not the worst in the world for us. Remember, when you're moving, you can right click and just hold down that you want to move over somewhere. You never have to let off the right click. You just hit space. Just tap the space bar with your thumb whenever you want to do a little, like, throw out an auto attack there. So, like, I can be moving and then space, fire shot, space, space, space. Now, if I just hold down space, it won't do anything. But if you spam space, you can get off every single auto shot and kind of move. It's annoying, but you can do that. Double bears. Alright, so let's do double bears like this. Oh, they hit me. I got hit. Yeah, the stun from our helmet was absolutely terrific right there. So again, until you get your ray of light. Yeah. I can kill that lightning shooter. They give good fame and silver. Do they really? God, they're so much of a pain in the butt. My video settings on normal if I want more frames per second. I'm okay. Like, a lot of times I'll even put it on 30 frames per second. Like, if I'm not PvPing, I'm not worried about the frames. I've noticed that since the new server, like since they switched servers, that the frames have been a lot better. Like, I'm actually happy that they switched from IBM. I don't know what they're currently on, but I don't know if it's AWS or what, but the new servers are pretty sweet. Alright, so here we go. And then we'll hit them all here with this. Try not to stand and stuff. Ooh, do we get an extra boss over here? What? Are we on our first boss? Seeing that little dude does not actually make me think that I'm coming up on a boss. Let's go check this other passage really quick. This looks like this may be the actual way through the dungeon. Ah, not a passage. I feel so sheepish. I gotta see how much fame these lightning shooters have next time I come up on a lightning shooter. We're gonna have to check this out. We're so out of that circle. It is a boss. There we go. Now I've got to be careful of where I shoot my deadly shot, because I'm close enough to this boss that if I aim in the wrong direction, I will hit that boss and we'll pull that boss right in the middle of our pull here. It's not what we're looking for. Go ahead and kill the rest of the guards, just so they don't show up in the middle of the fight. Oh hey, we've done our daily. Yay, bonus. Alright. We'll throw our poison. Now, I threw the poison while I still had my Hunter Jacket buff up, which will give me the extra percentage of damage. Wait for the third set of lightning, and then we can go back to damage. Nope, I'm not. I wanted to just soak that up. Oh, not even a real boss. Just a buff boss. Okay, well, that's okay, I guess. The hitboxes on this game are dumb. It's always larger than the indicator. Most of the time, yeah. Alright, so we got another one of those lightning things. I want to check the fame on these. Let's go to my fame. That's another piece of advice if I haven't given it already. These just take forever to kill. Uh, 330 fame. And regular guys give me how much? How much is this guy going to give? 440 fame, and he was a lot quicker. Yeah, I'm going to just keep skipping those. Yeah, those lightning things don't took 2 rounds of cooldowns to kill it, and it gave barely more fame than those dudes that I just killed 2 of. So again, I think that being able to complete your dungeons faster is the way you want to go. We are looking for fame here, but we're also looking to just kind of crush out as many as we possibly can. Oh, I hate that buff. Let's see if we can stun them and just avoid this for a second. Can't have you getting buffed up again. We don't want you walking in it either. So stop walking. Ah, oh, he got in it. Gotta move out of that. And silver off the ground is going to be one of your smallest pickups. Like that, you're not going to be worried about silver off the ground very much. Ooh, they hurting. They hurting. We're going to go down. Next auto attack, we're down. Knew it. Knew it. Earth Keepers. Stupid Earth Keepers. Should have killed one and peeled back. Kill one and peel back. So, again, maybe Undead Cape would be the way to go here. Because now I've damaged everything in my bags. Look at that. Single target though, this bow is very, very good. I know normally you go for the mages first, but as a archer, that may not always be the case. Alright, so one thing we're going to do here, we're going to change that out, and I might need a little bit of healing, so the Hunter Jacket is probably not going to be par for the course here.
torture Albion. You feed it.
Just wanted to try to keep him in the lava as long as possible. We're not going to stun him. I only cast that to get the extra little bit of damage off. Let's go ahead and poison. And we'll try to heal here. Oh no. Keep moving, keep moving. Barely got there. Barely got there. But got paid. Look at that. We get a tier 5 druid robes, and we get a bunch of runes and souls, and then some armor there. So yeah, that's gonna be your Adepts Bow. We'll switch to the Wailing Bow and go hop into another dungeon. Again, the Wailing Bow and the Whispering Bow and the Wailing Bow. 3K silver? What's 3K silver though? I mean, I get it. I mean, 3K silver is 3K silver. You know, you're right. But for the amount of time, I don't even pick up silver off the ground most of the time. Like you're not getting the majority of your silver from pickups off the ground. I mean, yeah, okay, 3K silver, that's cool, but it also took a lot longer to kill. But I get what you're saying, and I've got no issues on that. We're gonna need another map here. I'm not gonna wander around and look for one. All right, we're off. Should we repair before we go back out? Now that I have went down. Nah, we'll be alright. Could go bank. Sure. Oh, I'm on a riding horse, I can't even tell. And I've got up here and got noob trap. Look at this. Double 09. Was 6 and 8 already taken? Who was 009? Didn't he show up in one or two of the movies? I mean, remembering that they drop 10 times more silver than a regular mob could be very useful when you get up into like tier 7 and tier 8 mobs, though, because they are really easy to kill. It takes a little time, but they're really easy to kill. So maybe those could be silver banks. I mean, if I get 10k silver, it might be worth taking my time to kill something. So for sure. This dude's surrounded by piggies. He's doing work though. We're far enough out now, we can probably just find random dungeons without the maps. Not have to worry about them being run, but there are people out here doing work. Okay. It had to put it 3 zones away from me, didn't it? It's going to run me all over the place. I'll end up in Fort Sterling by the time this is over. Sell my bows over there. It's probably not a bad idea considering there's not a lot of wood around Fort Sterling. might do that. Takes 32 planks to make a bow. 96 runes, souls, or relics to upgrade one at the foundry. I don't know any other random facts to cover the silence of the ride, so other than I'm not going to run an entire dungeon with this particular bow. I should have stopped after that first boss and switched over, but then I would have had to fight the boss with this bow, which is probably bad. The bow is interesting and all. The Whispering Bow is interesting, but again, not my cup of tea. In ZVZs, I like the Wailing Bow or the Longbow. Not a big fan of the Longbow. I like the Wailing Bow, and I like the War Bow for open world, or the Badon for open world, and for Fame Farm, the Badon is my favorite. So we'll get to that in just a few moments. Should be a dungeon right here. Ooh, which one's ours? Which one's our dungeon? We'll have to check. Hope it's this one. This one looks cleared. Nope, this is ours. We can tell it's enemies in this dungeon are 16% stronger. So, all right, it's time to wailing it up. Go ahead and stun them to interrupt them really quick. The helmet is really good, guys. Don't sleep on the plate helmet there. Having an interrupt early in the game is really important. Having a root early in the game, also really important. I kind of missed that skill shot. I took a little extra damage there because I wanted to maximize my E, but oh, we're getting pulled in. You really only have a few options when getting pulled in by a scorpion. Most of the time I choose to run through them, but looks like we're gonna have to reset this before he gets his cooldown back, or we're gonna get killed. Yikes. Yeah, scorpions are a bit of a pain. They'll pull you in. Most of the time, though, if you do get pulled in, run through them instead of running away unless you have a speed buff up. So. See if this is a side path to a boss. Looks like it might be. Remember, the Scorpion always does his ability right after he pulls you in. We're gonna, I was trying to hit them. I was going to go ahead and pull them too, but it's probably not a good idea. Actually, in higher level dungeons, I rarely pick up my silver because you can watch the chat and see if someone else has walked in on your dungeon. And we'll move out of that. Stun. All right. So again, the Wailing Bow is, or the Whispering Bow, nothing extremely special. You do get, you know, that extra range, which is not bad for ZVZs. I have seen people use it in ZVZs, setting on the back line, so they're not actually getting up in the choke or anything, and just firing damage off at the enemies. So ZVZs are going to be huge with the patch, so you guys are definitely going to want a good ZVZ build. The Whispering Bow is not horrible for it, and if you're trying to stay alive, it's really going to matter on your team. But if you're trying to stay alive because you don't want to replace your gear very much, it does put you further back. All right, so that's the way down. We need to go back over here and see what this other path was. Missed pile of silver. 15 silver, yeah. Oh yeah, waste that on it. Did I do it again? Did I really? Wasn't even another path. Didn't fully check the room. Yikes. Oh no, I'm out of lemonade. Alright, let's see if we can kill these two dudes without getting knocked down here. 3 guys, even better. Not bad, not bad. You love the undead cape for dungeons? I didn't even see that message. The undead cape's good if you don't wanna lose your stuff. Oh yeah, we're about to get dirty with this. Alright, we got the damage buff. I'm gonna skip these two. Or sorry, not the damage buff, but the healing buff. I'm gonna skip these. We'll just use our mercenary jacket to heal back up there on top of the buff. Should be no problem for us. But yeah, I skip those because those statues, they may give a lot of fame, they may give a lot of silver, but they're also a pain. A lot of times you got to run in on the statues, kill all the mobs around the statue before the statue starts spawning mobs. There's a set of stairs over there, so. Right, so we get a little mage boss here. Use the scorpion to pull me past him. Ice mage. Oh yeah, fat loots. Fat loots. Alright, so that's the Wailing Bow. Not much different from the Adepts Bow. Again, all about normal damage. Let's move on to the Warbow. Now the Warbow here, I'm actually going to be rocking the Assassin's Jacket with the Warbow. This may not be the proper way to go. I think it's right though. This is also what you would want to be wearing if you were out in open world PvP. So we're going to go invisible for a moment. We get all of our stacks. And then I messed it up by getting close to him like a genius. So catch some distance between us and him, and then hit him with our E. Yeah, I got too close to him. I should have been at max range there to hit him with the E for more damage. The further away you are when you fire the E. But again, you got to hit. You have to hit with it, and you're going to miss. There's going to be times that you miss, so do try to pay attention. Try to hit when you can. Try to be as far away as you can. Practice your kiting skills when you're playing with the Warbow. Oh yeah, that was a good ballista support right there. All right, boom. Big hits though, big hits. But yeah, this is your kiting bow. It's really fun to play with. You got to move around a lot. The skill cap on it's huge because it's up to you. Like you could easily mess it up. But you'll see that it's automatically smoother. Like it's just huge amounts of damage. Like we just took 20% of that dude's life away. We get pulled in. Interrupted by death. Run through him. Big hit, big hit. Remember, your damage is based on your distance. So when you can be away from them to get that max damage, that's great. This is one of my favorite bows. Like it is the bow that I like to. If I'm going to do some open world PvP, this is the bow I like to use. Looks like we're coming up on the last boss here. And again, the stun is also really good for keeping yourself away from the enemy long enough to be able to get off that max damage shot. Now, the rest of your attacks do not matter about damage, just your or distance, just your E cares. So there we go. There's the glyph showing we're coming up on the last boss. We got some melee. We got a melee dude that we can easily dodge and a couple casters. Boom. Big hit on the caster. Let's see if we can get some more hits in there. Finish this one off. stun a few. That'll finish that, and then we can just finish him. Nice and easy. Alright. Okay. Our food buff's down. Notice our health's not regenerating faster. So we'll move on. I don't think Assassin's Jacket's actually going to help me here. Another cool thing about the Warbow is you don't actually have to have them targeted to be able to do the oh man, pulled him right out of it. To do the E's and stuff, because they are skill shots. So not having to target the enemy is sometimes worth it. Let's go ahead and see if we can get some heals going on here. Out of the claw. Put some distance. Get that shot off. Get away from the skull. Claw. Don't want that either. A little extra damage here. Get another poison off. It's already a long fight. And I'm actually going to try to hold him in this. And boom. Big shot for the big distance E there. Alright, what did we get? We got some bags, and we got Assassin's Hood. Not bad, not bad. Alright, let's find us another dungeon. I think there was one right outside. We might just be able to jump into that one. Waiting, waiting, waiting. All right. We've run all the different types of dungeons so far. So that was the Warbow. Hope you guys like it. This one's going to be the Wailing Bow. It's not as much damage, but can potentially be much more damage if you can line up and get multiple enemies here. So we'll show you this ability really quick. It's not going to hit really hard on this mob because it's only going to be hitting one mob, but shoots a huge arrow. Looks cool, and you know, if you can manage to hit 4 or more, then you're going to do a serious amount of damage. 30-second cooldown though, kind of hurts a little bit, but we're gonna try this. Well, that's just not worth it, is it? What does that howl do? Can't get it to stay up. It keeps getting these other buffs. Oh well. Let's pick our silvers up. Oh yeah, 11 silver. Getting rich now, boys. That actually one-shot the little dude behind her. This bow can do some serious damage if you can send that up through a choke. Like, this is one of my favorite ZVZ bows. Not probably not going to be the best for solo dungeons, but oh, the Wailing Bow is so good for ZVZs. At which point you're actually just going to be rocking, cleric's armor and your ZVZ gear. Let's see if we can. Huge damage. Killed 2 and took half the other one's life away. Not bad. I'm going to try to wrap this stream up though, so I'm going to be skipping more than normal. As I try to go back and get a bat. Take out the caster. Let's see if we can get around all of this. Lava guy here is a pain in the butt. But we are up on our first boss of the dungeon here. I think this boss is always silver though. If we pull him, do we get everything else in the world? How much comes with him? I need to prepare to reset. I don't think so. And whirlwind. Now, because you need to hit multiple targets for this to be good, it's clearly not good in single target fights, which for dungeons and things, you're not going to want this. But in ZVZs, where you can get 20 people in an area together in a choke point or something like that, send this Wailing Bow right up through the middle. It's gonna be great. Overall damage, so it's fine. All right, so wrong button. So that's your Wailing Bow. A lot like the War Bow. Pretty sweet. The War Bow is probably going to be better for doing this than your Wailing Bow. Next, we're gonna rock the Longbow, which the Longbow is your AOE bow. Again, this is meant for hitting multiple targets. People are going to absolutely love you if you have this bow with you when you're in fame farms and things like that. I messed that up. I was supposed to hit my W before I did that ability. But we'll be alright. Alright, so let's see what we can do here. Get some guys together. W. It is channeled though, and I had to move, so as soon as I got a few kills in. Yeah, like it being channeled is a pain. Like that's the part you're gonna hate about the Longbow. Like channeling it's so good for group fights. Like if you're doing 5-man dungeons, the Longbow is so good. But if you're doing solos and you're the tank and the healer and the DPS, it's not the greatest thing in the world. So. Yay, more mana. I think it's also reduced cooldowns too, right? Yeah, all cooldowns are reduced, so we'll take our vengeance out. Silly bats. Or imps. I think they're imps. Maybe they are bats, I don't know. They're summoned. I know that. I mean, this bow does a lot of damage. Again, if you're in a group, and especially if you've got a tank that's doing like air compressor or something like that, where they pull everything in. If you're even in a ZVZ where you got the camel and mace, like pulling everybody into a cluster, and then you hit that channel, you can do a ton of damage, right? Time to fight in the shade. That's right, Jank. Time to fight in the shade. Our arrows will blot out the sky. Good. Then we'll fight in the shade. Or blot out the sun. Bad quote. I need to watch 300 about 20 more times. I hate this room. We are skipping this room. Forget this room. Oh, goodness. We're going to skip a lot more than that. Oh, it's her. She doesn't have any trash? Nothing around the sides? Cool. Alright, so let's throw that poison. Go ahead and get an initial amount of healing out now that we see our cape procced. I'm going to take this hit. It's probably bad to take that hit. That hit was a lot harder than I expected. So I'm not going to take it again. Oh, we got the wrong target. Wow, some close calls with these bows. All right, enough playing around. Now it's time to use the good bow, right? All the lightning you could ever want. That's the longbow, though. Again, if you're in a group, use longbow. Like longbow's really good. And then if you're going to be soloing, at least buy you one of these, right? Even if you don't take it out with your buddies and things like that. Like if you're going to go out and do some ganking or something like that, and you can't afford like some expensive sets and things like that, buy you at least one Boa Badon. And if you're not going to be taking it out, get the best one you can get a hold of. And you'll thank me, I promise. And I'm about to show you why. I have saved the absolute best for last. So let's find us a dungeon. You know what else blots out the sun? The clouds. Alright, so first off, this is an artifact bow. So because it's an artifact bow, it does a little bit more damage off the baseline. Man, I kind of just want to switch to those druid robes and just go ham here. Now, you do not have to channel this. You'll see that lightning storm that came down. You do not have to channel it. It's terrific. 30-second cooldown there. Nice and easy. And this works really well as both single target and AoE. That was probably a bit much for those two little rock dudes, right? Okay. Notice he keeps getting interrupted. Even the bear keeps getting interrupted. Because they're getting interrupted, I'm not taking damage, which that's terrific. I think there's a room over there. Nope. They were just... It looked like they were guarding something, so I kind of thought they were. Still no damage buff. No damage buff. Interrupted. Can't do nothing. Nothing. That part of this bow alone gives you increased survivability. It's terrific. I'm telling you guys, you've got to try the Bow of Badon. One ability finished the other chick before I could finish the one I was actually fighting. What's up here? Anything worth getting? Yeah, 2 sets of stairs. Alright. Tells me I went the wrong way. We will see shortly. Yeah, we should have already been to a boss if this was a split, so I'm going to go back. We'll run back really quick. How come none of these solo dungeons have more than 2 floors? I haven't had one with 3 floors yet today. Alright, big stone thrower dude. Let's do that damage, even though it's not going to do much else. Interrupted. Can't interrupt the stone throw though. I think it's uninterruptible. And it's a green chest, so yeah, we know we're getting fat loots off of that. Need a big purple chest in this video. Wow. 1 bag of silver. That dude gave 1 bag of silver. Yay. Good old RNG. First shade, now the rain. That's right. First we were in the shade, now we're in the rain. That's a good way to look at it. Most of these guys don't move a lot, so I'm not having to use my helmet. Wasted the boost. Of course, I really pop it for cooldowns. What are you gonna cast? Huh? Huh? Nothing. We need more. She's throwing mushrooms at me. Mushrooms. What do you think this is? College? Come on. Throwing mushrooms at people. For those of you wondering, our I killed Sparky, right? Oh, Sparky, that's right. For those of you wondering, our next one of these guides is going to be on staves. So if you're looking at rocking staves, I'll have one that's a good build for you. Oh, it's Earth Daughter. Man, I put a lot of concentration into drawing a particular part of her.
Get out of our home, takers. Takers, be gone. Nature, awaken. I see you. Takers.
I'll stay south of her for you guys. How's that? Some of you are mad at me already. I can't believe you do that. She's even got butt cleavage. Look at this. Look at this. You can't see it because of the cloud, but gotta get out of that. Oh, that's hurt. That hurts. That hurts. She's gonna kill me. This boss is going to kill me. I have to wait. Yikes! 10 silver. Everyone must be running randoms right now. Purple chest, we get 10 silver, 10 runes. That's lovely. This has been wonderful. I actually messed up my heal. I popped my heal when I didn't have Raging Storm available, which would have almost topped me off. Like, here, I'll take a bunch of damage really quick. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. Let's take a hit. Let's take another hit. Alright, pop. Like, it's a lot of heals. Like, you get all 15, like, really quick, so. Yeah, and if you would have had an undead cape, you would have reset that boss and had to start over. So, there's some perks to the undead cape, and then there's some other things that will just drive you insane. If you're like me, you can usually end up playing better right before you die. Like you. I should be playing better all the time, but you know, it's when it gets serious. You could be focusing on this dude. And then just like collateral damaging the elemental. Can I keep going down in here? Is this a path? Wow, looks like there'd be a path that opens up down here, doesn't it? Alright, so we can kill these dudes. I don't know how I hit them with that barrel. How come it's not interrupting that? Almost done here. We're coming up on the last boss right now. Okay. Even when they die, they hit their knees. Not sure which one you want. Thinking Demon. Yeah, this bow is amazing, dude. This is the best bow in the game. Like, all the bows have their purpose. This one's the most multi-purpose. Like, it's just so good. It works so well with some of the other things. The fact that the storm actually interrupts. This bow is the way to go. It's not cheap. It is not cheap at all. Am I out of poisons? Let's restack some poisons and run for a second. So that actually wouldn't have bothered me if I had still had at least a poison left when I added more to the stack. I wouldn't have had to waste my cooldowns. But it's okay. It's okay. Now we can throw a poison and move on. Oh, definitely want to try to get out of that. Get back in the lightning, dude. Where you going? I've got this guy moving too much. Alright, so our next lightning storm we have to hit. We have to hit the our jacket, heal ourselves back up. So I'm going to save the jacket until my lightning storm to get the most out of it. So I'm just going to, I don't know, I might just be able to kill him. Alright, jacket, lightning storm, sprint, dead, loot. Pretty poor loot. All in all, we did pretty well though. So not bad. Not bad. Went out. We ended up with an extra assassin hood, tier 5 robes. So not bad. Druid robes. Druid robes are okay. So as we ride back, I'll go over my ranking of these particular bows. So again, depending on what you're doing, one bow may or may not be better than the other. If you don't have tier 6 yet, but well, then you don't have Ray of Light anyway. So no real point there. At level 70, you get Ray of Light. Definitely check that out when you get it. If you guys want to see a little bit higher level bows, I do have bows leveled up on another character. I could potentially do some bow play there. If you're out open world, doing the thing, PvPing, whatever, if you're okay with the skill shots, use the warbow. I think the warbow is better. The skill shots are harder, especially against actual players. So careful on that. Use the warbow though. The warbow is very, very good open world. If you are playing against in a fame farm group, use the longbow. The longbow is terrific. You could also use the bow of Badon there as well, but the longbow is a good cheap way to do it. The bow of Badon is going to be your all-purpose go-to, just wonderful bow that you're going to absolutely love. So I mean, there is that. As far as ZVZ goes, the Wailing Bow is going to be your number one pick. The Whispering Bow or Longbow will be your second pick. The Badon also fits in second there, but Wailing Bows are really good. Taking Wailing Bows for your group is actually beneficial to the group because of the sheer amount of damage you can do. It's massive claps. I mean, just killing everyone in a row is absolutely terrific. It's actually a pretty wide row when it goes out as well, so there is that. How are we riding back into town? I don't want to ride through Willow Wood. I guess we go to Birch Corpse. Carrying way too much gear on me to ride on stream through a red zone. Of course, there's no way a sniper would be watching at this point after all this blue zone play. Fight for the finale? Sure, meet you at the Guild Island. For those of you that want just a cheap all-purpose bow, though, just the regular bow. The Adepts Bow is fine. It's not going to be the best for solo dungeoning or anything else, but it's good all-purpose. It's good for single target because of the enchanted arrow and the deadly shot on it. It's also pretty decent. It's also pretty decent for rocking a little bit of AOE and things. It's not really that bad. So yeah. I'll be there in just a moment. We're one more zone away, and then I'll put away all of this stuff and we'll go from there. PvP though, I actually think the warbow is the way to go. You can still use the regular bow for PvP. We'll see if we can kill this silly claws player who's probably just going to nuke us. One Jank wants to duel for the finale. He's been waiting around this whole time to see if he can get a duel on stream. Maybe I'll do that one day. Maybe we'll just do duels and like doesn't all have to be against me, you know. Do it on the Guild Island. I'll say as soon as we get the Guild Island to tier 6, we open up an arena in the top corner, and we can do duels there. So as soon as we get the Guild Island to tier 6, we'll work on that. I think it's tier 4 right now, but I gotta put like 4 million silver in, and we're just below. The treasury's not going up a whole lot here, so I need to do some more recruiting, get us some more players. That's not why you're here. That's not why I'm here. Let me yeah, I can actually just dump it all on my bank on the Guild Island. You also get a bank on the Guild Island, so if you need an extra bank, I'll just dump it all there really quick. Let's see what Santa's left us in the present box. Santa left a repair kit. Alright. We need something different for... That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for that. I guess that. I need to get a helmet. If we're gonna duel, I need a semi decent dueling set. You've picked up a few recruits. Awesome. Awesome. Alright, so remember I said we like the mage cowl, so we're gonna rock the mage cowl, and probably that. Let's go this route. Actually, we're a warbow. We're a warbow. Assassin's Jacket's the way to go. Alright. Back to the Guild Island. To hopefully do good against this this melee guy here. Alright, Sir Jank. Is there anything else I need to do? No? We have a decent setup. Decent. Alright, Sir Jank. Ready when you are. We dueling for money? Are we gambling here? Are we dueling for money? Are we setting a wager? 10k. Let's do a 10k duel here. You beat me, you get 10k. I beat you, I get 10k. You can actually do that in this game. Just set wagers. You want to set a wager? No? Fine. Set the wager at 0. Here we go. So we definitely want to get some distance. Go ahead and brought him with a few abilities. Wow, he poisoned me. Really? Wow, I can't believe he poisoned me. What are you getting stuck on, Jank? Oh, he's healing. He's healing. Oh, I missed my E. Poison pots in a duel. Okay, okay. I mean, I used one too after he did. But got him. Got him. That was sad. That was sad. Sad. Anyway, that's going to do it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you all enjoyed. If you do like Magic the Gathering, though, well, we also stream a lot of Magic the Gathering here on the channel. And we're about to be doing Coffee Time, which will be a Discord thing where we'll pull up a couple of our friends here in Discord. We'll talk about some decks, maybe improve those decks, maybe give a little bit of gameplay. So yeah, if you guys want to join us for Coffee Time, that's what we've got coming up next. If you guys are watching the replay on YouTube and you've made it this far, thanks for watching. The Coffee Time replay should be up as well at that point. So yeah, I hope everyone has had a lot of fun. I know I had a lot of fun doing this, playing with the bows. Like I said, we've got stabs coming up next. They're not necessarily a solo weapon, but I'm going to see if I can find a build that allows us to do some solo dungeons so that you guys can level up your stabs and things if you don't have a party to go do things with. So in closure, though, one of the best sets that you can put together for PvP, that cape, the assassin's jacket, any pair of leather boots, and the warbow, absolutely terrific. My go-to on dungeons, though, is going to be rocking you a mercenary jacket or a Hellion jacket. I actually prefer the Hellion jacket, even though you do have to get close with the Wailing Bow or Bedon. Rock that with the helmet until you get to level 70, which I'll show you guys really quick. Rock that until you get to level 70 on your bows. When you get to your mastery level 70, you'll unlock Ray of Light, at which point I again would just go back to the Mage Cowl. The Mage Cowl is going to be your go-to helmet on these bows. It gives you that extra damage and helps you get those extra ticks for your mercenary jackets and things like that. Remember, gear is fluid in this game. So, you're going to gain gear, you're going to lose gear, you're going to change gear, and you're going to have different sets of gear for different situations. So, gear appropriately, have fun out there. My name's Eric, and we'll see you next time on Sideboard MTG, or Adventures of LiveStream. Yeah, see you next time.